Dear viewers, for months we have exposed one corruption scandal after another. Each time we hope the truth will make a dent. But before the dust settles, another scandal explodes. Bigger, dirtier, and more brazen. Today we are going to Thane, the political turf of Maharashtra's Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. What is happening here is not a case of petty bribery. It's a case so massive, so shameless that it shows how corruption has eaten into the very bones of our civic system. This is the story of a deputy municipal commissioner who wasn't just demolishing illegal buildings, he was running a protection racket right from his office. Builders, brokers, middlemen, everyone knew the price list. Pay up and your illegal tower stands tall. Don't pay and the bulldozers roll in. But here is the real shocker. It wasn't just one greedy officer. It was an entire ecosystem, a well-oiled extortion machine feeding on fear and turning a city into playground for the corrupt. Hello, I am Tejas and you're watching Honest Take on Lokmat Times. Stay with me till the end because this story is not about one arrest or one scam. It's about how power, politics and greed destroyed accountability and how the ones paying the heaviest price aren't the politicians or builders, but ordinary citizens like you. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Lokmat Times and hit the bell icon because stories like this need to be heard and the fight against corruption begins with awareness. On October 1st, 2025, the Anti-Corruption Bureau ACB walked into the Thane Municipal Corporation headquarters and arrested Shankar Patore, Deputy Municipal Commissioner of the Encroachment Control Department. Patore was supposed to crack down on unauthorized constructions. Instead, he was making money off them. Here is what went down. Developer Abhijit Kadam, representing property owner Anant Arjun Madhvi, had development rights for a plot in Vishnunagar, Naupada. But his project couldn't move forward because of 3 illegal shops squatting on the land. Kadam did what many helpless developers do. He went to the civic body, expecting the law to act. Instead, Patore demanded a bribe of Rs 25 lakh to take action. Kadam paid the first installment of Rs 10 lakh through an intermediary's bank account in July 2025. Notices were issued, but nothing moved. Then in September, Patore doubled his demand, Rs 50 lakh total. Pay Rs 25 lakh now and another Rs 25 lakh at the time of demolition. Fed up, Kadam went to the ACB, and that's when the net began to close. The ACB set 3 traps. First 2 failed because Patore refused to meet. Finally, on October 1st, in Patore's very cabin at TMC headquarters, a man named Omkar Gaikar accepted Rs 25 lakh on Patore's behalf. As soon as he pocketed the cash, he called Patore. The ACB swooped in, arrested both, and cracked open one of the biggest civic scams Thane has seen in years. Let's talk about the scale of this corruption. Let's break down these numbers. Patore had already received Rs 10 lakh in July. He was caught red-handed taking Rs 25 lakh in October. He had demanded another 25 lakh for future demolition. Total Rs 60 lakh for just 3 shops. And here is the kicker. It wasn't just one case. Investigations revealed a standardized rate card, Rs 200 per square foot for illegal constructions. If you wanted to build without permission, you paid. If you wanted protection from demolition, you paid. If you wanted selective enforcement against your rivals, you paid. This wasn't hidden. Social workers like Ajay Jaya had complained for years that the anti-encroachment department was openly demanding Rs 200 per square foot. Records, audio clips and testimonies back this up. And the scale? Just in Diva alone, nearly 200 unauthorized buildings have come up since 2022. Across Thane, the civic body itself admitted that there are 909 illegal buildings. Do the math. Rs 200 per square feet multiplied across thousands of flats and shops. The money runs into hundreds of crores, siphoned straight out of people's misery. The investigation doesn't stop at Patore. Omkar Gaikar, the middleman, was caught with the cash. Sushant Surve, another private player, acted as a financial conduit. His bank account received the first Rs 10 lakh installment. These weren't random actors, they were part of an organized system. Patore used them as buffers so his own hands stayed clean. And here is the irony. Patore was recently promoted, replacing another officer, Gajanan Godhepure. His appointment itself raised eyebrows. Opposition leaders pointed out that he was promoted despite existing complaints of corruption. Why? Because he was useful. This is not Thane's first brush with civic corruption. Remember Farooq Sheikh, the Assistant Municipal Commissioner of Diva Division? He was suspended earlier in 2025 for the same Rs 200 per square foot racket. The High Court itself observed that Sheikh was charging builders systematically for 13 illegal buildings. Go further back to 2013, the Lucky Compound tragedy. An illegal building collapsed, killing 74 people. Investigations revealed that TMC officials were not only taking bribes but actively guiding builders on how to evade demolition. A diary was seized with handwritten bribe records. Nothing really changed. This is the DNA of Thane's civic administration: corruption, protection, and blood on their hands. You can't run a racket of this size without political cover. Reports point to local leaders, particularly from Shiv Sena factions, who allegedly influenced illegal construction approvals. Contractors like Balaji ran cartels, bidding through proxy firms and enjoying civic protection. Minister Ganesh Naik even admitted corruption in Thane's civic bodies has increased in the past 5 years. But that admission was also a veiled jab at Deputy Chief Minister Eknath Shinde, who controls urban development and whose turf is Thane. The opposition Congress went further, demanding answers on why Patole was promoted when corruption allegations were already hanging over his head. So here is the truth. This wasn't an isolated crime, it was a network. Civic officials, local politicians, and contractors all feeding off the same pie. Let's step back. What does this mean for the common man? For one, infrastructure in Thane is choking. Illegal buildings put unbearable strain on water supply, sewage, roads, and electricity. In Diva alone, water connections to 275 buildings had to be cut because they were unauthorized. Borewells were shut in nearly 90 others. Environmental damage is massive. No development zones and green areas have been swallowed up by illegal construction, and safety non-existent. These buildings don't follow fire safety, structural standards, or emergency norms. Every unauthorized tower is a ticking time bomb. And when tragedy strikes like Lucky Compound, it's not the corrupt officials who die. It's the residents, ordinary families, people like you. The judiciary has long suspected that something bigger is at play. The Bombay High Court said outright, there appears to be a total syndicate. It demanded that the TMC commissioner act ruthlessly, suspend corrupt officers, and set an example for all Maharashtra municipalities. The Supreme Court went further, saying illegal constructions in Thane had direct underworld links. Justice Manmohan remarked, there is no rule of law. When the country's top court says there is no rule of law in Thane, it should terrify every citizen. Because what you have left then is not governance, it's a mafia. After Patole's arrest, TMC Commissioner Saurabh Rao suspended him and reassigned duties. The anti-encroachment department was given to Umesh Birari. Fine, but does anyone really believe the racket stops with one man's suspension? We have seen this playbook before. An official gets caught, a few transfers happen, media attention fades, the machine restarts. Unless the system itself is gutted, nothing will change. So here is my honest take. Thane's municipal body has been reduced to a bazaar where laws are sold by the square foot. Officials created posts that don't exist, demanded bribes higher than the value of the land itself, and offered protection services like gangsters. Politicians watched, sometimes shielding, sometimes cashing in. And the common man, he is the one who pays the real price. He buys a flat in good faith, only to discover years later it is illegal. He watches his taxes disappear into the pockets of the corrupt officials. He risks his family's life every day living in buildings that might collapse while the powerful get richer. This is not administration. This is organized loot dressed up as governance. So the next time you hear about Thane's urban growth or see politicians boasting about development, remember the truth. Much of that growth is built on illegal foundations, bought and sold at rupees 200 per square foot. And until the system is cleaned out root and branch, Thane isn't just at risk of corruption. Thane is at risk of collapse, and that is your honest take.